Mm. Okay, so first of all, welcome, everybody to coming to our special training with our $1 Million Club member, director of shop.com, currently is making 18,000 to 25,000 in 4 weeks pay cycle. And our special guest speaker, Stephen Hu, right? Right now we have about more than 160 people, around the world was listening to you tonight. So anyhow, I would say welcome, Singapore, welcome Australia, welcome Hong Kong, and welcome Taiwan, or welcome Singapore, and welcome United States, the East Coast and the West Coast, okay? If I'm missing somebody, I do apologize. I'll be your host tonight. I just quick introduce myself and then I will pass the mic, to our special guest tonight. So my name is Joyce. I came to the state 22 years ago with my family. So as a first generation immigrant, we always want to pursue a better life. So a year after we came to the state, we started our own restaurant business. We made great money. Life was great. Not until my father suddenly get paralyzed in one day. My life turned around. So everything fell apart. We have to sell our business. It's also the first time ever in my life I have the feeling called when you stop working, money stop coming. So because of that, I have been looking for residual ongoing income. And that's also how I met my sponsor, Sarah, in the Real Estate Investment Club. When she approached me about the shop.com, the residual ongoing income was created in this business. I knew that that's exactly what I'm looking for because I don't want to repeat the same footstep like my father did, working so hard and with nothing. Knock on wood, if something happened to me, through this business, the residual ongoing income I build it, I will never leave any financial burden to my family. That's why I'm really passionate, and that's why we are so passionate while we're building this business. So without further ado, I will leave the time. So Stephen will give us a special training in the end. We will have a Q&A sessions, okay? So if you guys have any question or concern, and if we do have time, please, write down on the board. We will select some of the questions and answer it. So let's have the warmest welcome, from Southern California for our $1 Million Club member, Stephen Hu, and also a director of shop.com. Before or prior to shop.com, Stephen has been entrepreneur since he was 26 years old. But still, as a traditional business owner, he transitioned to a market maker shop.com business owner for the past 18 years. I'm sure he will have a lot of great experience to share with us. So let's have a warmest welcome with Stephen Hu. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say my gratitude to Joyce. Kind of invite me, and when she first sent a text message, I say yes without even think. And then I realized that, wait a minute, in what language? As she said in English, I said, oh my goodness. I'm worried about it because I speak Chinglish. And so it's throughout my presentation, anything you don't understand, just pick up your handphone and look at Google translation and look for Chinglish. Okay. And I was so nervous, and I even forgot to put my bio presentation on my PowerPoint. But just very briefly, I kind of introduced myself a little bit. I was born and raised in Guangzhou, China. And when I was 20 years old, I came to this country to pursue the American dream. And after I worked for this boss for 5 years, and I was let go for no reason. So at age of 26, I realized that it would be very hard to pursue your dream by working for somebody. So I decided not to work for somebody anymore. And I was very lucky. I picked up a business, and it's a photo shop. And so I worked very hard. So in about 6 months, and I break even. And then 2 years, I opened the next one, and the 2 years, another one. So I was kind of like halfway on my American dream. And then at the year of 2000, when digital camera gets popular, my business is going down like crazy. And so I realized that no matter how hard I work in that industry, when the trend is not there, no matter how hard you work, you won't sustain. So I realized that, so I was looking for opportunity. But all the opportunity I look at, it takes a lot of money. I have to bear with a lot of risk. And so I just looked and did not do anything until my customer in the photo shop introduced me this particular business. And because I was looking for opportunity and then I take a look at the business, I did see something that night. And just like you guys, and maybe in Asia, it's in the morning. So first thing I saw, it was what we call passive income. And I have never, that term never comes in my mind. And so I was curious about how passive income works. If I will be able to obtain it, I will be very interested. And number two is that convert spending into earning. Although back then we don't have the shopping annuity concept, but the concept is the same. And so I started the business and worked on it for 3.5 years. And I was so glad that I made that choice, because 3.5 years later, my photo shop just going down the tube. And so I decided to close two and close one and sell two, and then go into shop.com full time. But of course now, after 18 years, and I'm kind of living the lifestyle of my dream, but most importantly, I help a lot of people along the way. So that's my story. But today we're going into dive into the subject that we're going to be talking about. So today I break down the 45-minute session into about 3 topics. And number one is that why we are even look into a opportunity. And number two is that what is Market America? Is that something that worthwhile for me to look into, or to try it, or maybe to put my full force onto it? And number 3 is that how do I do it? Do they provide a system? What is the step? So the first thing is that we have to kind of determine that. Right now, it's in the COVID-19, and it affects a lot of business. And for some, it might be more severe. And for the other, it might be, well, just somehow manage it. So the hardship, it kind of impact different people differently. But one thing, I like this sentence a lot: hardship often prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destiny. So tonight, if you're a guest, you never know, tonight might be the turning point of your life. And that was about 18 years ago. I make that decision and go to a presentation, and that night changed my life. And so we have to ask ourselves, why do we even look into this business? And I like this sentence a lot. The point is not how much money you make right now, but in the next 10 years, are you still making money because using your physical strength, you're trading your time, your ability, education, background, or skill set? Or maybe by then you have able to leverage a system and work with a team. Because we understand as we get older, we tend to get more sick, or would get tired, and so on and so forth. So if you are straightly trading time for money, that means someday you're going to be bumped into a situation. So maybe we should do a reality check. Let's say if 0, it is your current situation. Is there any room to improve? Or hopefully you don't go downhill and go to the minus sign. Well, let's take a look at it. Well, do we have any room to improve? For example, we work less, or maybe less workload, or maybe less stress. How about like work at home? I don't have to travel. Well, right now, everybody's in lockdown. So probably a portion of you are working at home just like we do. And can you maintain that for the rest of your career? Or how about more money for the family, and more time and more money, early retirement? And that's some of the way that we can improve our lifestyle. But unfortunately, a lot of these areas that we want to improve, it has something to do with time, and it has something to do with money. And so what are the way out? Continue to work for somebody, or maybe start your own business as a self-employed. Or maybe you create your own corporation and with 500 employees and more, or maybe you have enough money to invest. And I remember when I started this business, and it was the very first time I was exposed to this called cash flow quadrant, and which the author Robert Kiyosaki says that no matter what you do in the world, that the way you make money is coming from 4 different areas. But unfortunately, if you make your money on the left-hand side, which is that either you work for somebody or you work for yourself, you're pretty much trading time for money. Even though you're a doctor, engineer, accountant, a lawyer, you still work for money. But on the right-hand side is different, because why? Because the people who's on the right-hand side, they are leveraging a system. Why system is so important? If you got a pen and paper, you definitely want to write down this. And because system can save ourselves stress, time, energy, and money. That's why when you look at all the billionaire or multi-millionaires, they don't really have to go to work, or maybe if they choose to work hard, they could, but they don't have to work for money, because they already have a system to leverage, that they have other people or the money working for them. So that's the important part. And so quite honestly, if today and you are a guest and you're kind of wondering, why do I have to look into this opportunity? This particular PowerPoint is something that you want to ask yourself, because the structure of income, if they're different, it has a humongous result on the way your lifestyle is. So if you somehow obtain passive income, and then basically the system work for you, you don't have to work for money, and you can have your own lifestyle. But if you are relying on active income, you trade time for money, well, pretty much that the time you stop working, the money stop coming in. That's definitely, you don't want to bump in to this situation. And so nowadays they have a saying that you can have only one job, but you cannot have only one source of income. So you definitely want to somehow obtain a passive income. So since system is so important, how can you leverage a system? Well, for some people, they are great. They are the best in the world. They are the richest in the world. But there's only a few in the world, right? And for some people, they have their life saving and they want to buy a franchise. They can leverage a system of a proven system of a franchise, but it costs a lot of money. I remember at the time I was trying to leave my photo industry, and I contact McDonald's and get the package. It was 1.5 million to start with, and they assign you a store in the middle of nowhere. And then if you want to get one in the city, it costs you $2-3 million. So normally people don't have that kind of money, not to mention it has to be your own money, and the cash is sitting in the bank account for 2 years to prove that that's your own money, right? But of course, there is a much better way, is that you join a system. Somehow you find a system, and then you determine this system is already proven that you join the system. So let's take a look at, well, I hope that by now I give you enough reason to look into an opportunity. And if you find out, well, I'm not eager enough to look into, well, definitely talk to the person who brought you to the presentation and you discuss more. And secondly, we want to look into, why choose Market America? I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of opportunity out there. Well, maybe some people choose to go Bitcoin, but you see the chart is like a roller coaster, and you probably get high blood pressure of it, okay? And so why do we have to look at it? Well, in a normal circumstance, passive income is reserved for the super rich and the elite class in the society. I mean, I don't know any of you that before looking into shop.com or before you join shop.com, you know anybody already getting passive income. Well, maybe a very few that people have a super rich and they own a factory and they buy a bunch of apartments, but very, very few. For myself, I have never heard of anybody like this before I joined shop.com. And so for our average person like us, and normally we don't even touch residual income, but with Market America shop.com, because it has a system in in place. So it kind of bridges the gap for average person to be able to learn and do and master and go into obtain a passive income. And so the system not only gives us a MPCP, what is called a compensation plan, to convert our spending into commission and give us the tool to work on. But more importantly, it gives us a GMTSS, it's called Global Meeting, Training, and Seminar System, to change our mind. For average person, we change into a rich person's mind. Because what you find out that a lot of time people don't have money is not what they don't have money on their pocket, is that they don't have the proper knowledge on their mind. So marketamericaShop.com gives us a very, very good education system to change our mind to be a rich person or to be somebody it's have the wealth. So if you kind of understand, especially for the person who's already joined the business, we keep saying that this particular business is that changing from a 45-year plan to a 2 to 3 year plan. And that's the whole reason we want to come in, because we work as hard as we can in that 2 to 3 years to obtain what we can't even obtain in a 45-year, which is the passive income. And so for people that they have look at the business a couple of times and that might catch their mind or their attention, because this business is a compressed success. So for average person, they've been able to participate into the system, be able to get wealth or get passive income. But a lot of time people only hearing or seeing the good thing or maybe what they want, but they forgot it does take time, money, energy, and sweat equity to put into the 2 to 3 years and before you get the outcome. And so a lot of time people might come in and they only expect a 2 to 3 year. They might think that I can wait 2 to 3 years. And maybe people say, I join for 2 to 3 years. No, it doesn't. It does take hard work, sweat equity. So when you come in, you have to be able to handle all the challenges. What kind of challenge? Well, you have your job, you have your family, you have your church to go to. All of a sudden, you got a 2 to 3 year plan. It requires 8 to 15 hours. How can you come up with the 8 to 15 hours? Well, you probably sleep less. You give up a lot of leisure. But some people don't. Some people said, well, Monday to Thursday night, I'm so tired when I come home. And Friday, well, it's football time. Or Sunday, Saturday, no family time. Sunday is church time, so I have no time to build. It does require sweat equity and time. So once you've been able to handle the challenges within that 2 to 3 years, you may be able to obtain that passive income. So you have to get fully understand that, and instead of just listen to the good part 2 to 3 years and you join, how come I don't make money in 2 to 3 years? No, it doesn't happen that way. And also, secondly, we look into this particular company in 5 different areas and see if something that worthwhile for you to invest. Okay, and there is in networking industry, there is a golden rule, 5 golden rule to screen a company if it's a company worthwhile to pick up. Okay, and first is the company, product, compensation plan, and training and timing. We'll look into one by one. So I love the mission statement of Shop.com, which marketamericaShop.com provides a system for average person like you and me wanted to become an entrepreneur, to create ongoing income and become financially independent while providing consumers worldwide with a better way to shop. So it's a full mouth of a sentence, but if you look at the highlight, it's a system, it's already proven in the last 28 years, and it provides ongoing income and financial independence. If that's what you want, this is the right company for you. And then we look at it, it's already 28 years, financially strong, and also the company is doing 800 million sales a year. And also one thing what I admire a lot is that although it's a privatized company, they don't have to let us know the book, but they choose to. So every year after they order their book, they publish and give it to us. So make sure that we feel comfortable that what kind of company we partner with. Okay, and for the last 28 years, and we're currently operating in 8 different countries, US, Canada, England, Australia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. And what is important is that since you are choosing a company that you work with for the next two to 3 years, maybe for the rest of your life to obtain that passive income, it's very crucial that you pick the right company, financially strong. Are they accredited by the third parties? And that we are very fortunate that we are accredited by BBB, Better Business Bureau. It's a third party to evaluate the trustworthiness, the performance, and the integrity of a company. And not only that, each year, and they award a company for that particular year to get a Torch Award. We got twice, 2013 and 2018. We are the only company got the award from this company twice. And so it's definitely a company worthwhile that you partner with. And also look at the product. We are a product brokerage company. What is the advantage of product brokerage? We don't have to R&D, develop the product. We don't have to manufacture them. So in the way, we don't have much risk at all. And because we get product from different manufacturers, so we have hundreds of products. Unlike a manufacturer, you're only locked into a certain line of products. And because we are a product broker and we are a marketing firm, and so what we do is that we do market research and then find out what people like and want, and we go out and find manufacturer. And then not only that, if we sell well, we continue to sell them. If it doesn't, we'll just eliminate it. So that's why we always carry the product. It's trendy. Why we have such a bargaining power? It's because we accumulated 6 million customers. So imagine the whole Singapore population is your customer. And so when we go out to look for manufacturer, they definitely want to get our contract, right? And secondly, we are an internet marketing company. And we partner with thousands of companies online. In the US, we partner with 4,000 companies. And of the 4,000 companies, pretty much you name it, they are partner with us. So what we do is that we provide a one-stop shop, shop.com. Of course, in different countries, you got the sg.shop.com, my.shop.com, hk.shop.com, and tw.shop.com. Of course, not leaving au.shop.com. So all these shop.com company, this website, we partner with the local company providing with the online products for people to shop. And then we also have Shop Local. Currently in US, we have 20,000 merchants, physical merchants are partnered with us. Some of them are McDonald's, Wendy's, and Subways, and so on and so forth. So what we are creating, a lot of time when we talk to people, they are focusing on what kind of product you produce. We are not just focusing on product itself. We are actually providing a way of life. Whatever people buy, we provide in our platform. And so the shopping annuity, it's definitely the way of the future, and it's what we do. And the thirdly is the compensation plan. It's very important that you put your time, your work, you get compensated fairly. And so 28 years ago, the founder and CEO, J.R. Ridinger, created the binomial system. And the binomial system is, back then, it was just like blow everybody's mind. So from now on, it's pretty much a trend. And so what we do is that we build 2 sales organizations. If somebody says that I can't build too much, well, don't even look into networking industry, because all the other company requires more. And it infinitively accrue your BV and IBV, and people and BV you can place, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to be spending too much time on that. And so because of the compensation plan, and then as a investor, we invest our time and effort into the business and to exchange for passive income. We looked at 3 different areas. No matter what you do, what kind of venture you want to join into, pretty much these 3 areas you look into. Number 1 is that how much investment I have to invest in. And number 2, how much risk I have to bear. Number 3, what kind of return I'm getting. Okay, well, take a look at the investment. Well, it takes more or less like 1,000. Why I don't say it's 450? Well, because it does take a little bit more than that, although the starting package is about 450. But I mean, you have to provide an education fund, and sometimes you're going on to out of the area training, and you might have to invest into some gadget and tools to help you to do this business. So it does take some investment. And also you got a monthly overhead, about 200 to 300, including the out-of-state training, for example, our convention or the work conference and so on and so forth. So some people might say, wow, I still have to put investment. Well, any business you have to put investment. I remember when I have my first store in Orange County, California, it's a 1,000 square foot of Photoshop. It cost me $13,000 overhead, not even paying myself. It does take money to make money. And actually, if you are looking at it as a business standpoint, the investment, it's very small in terms of doing a business, not only so that you got passive income and so on and so forth. More importantly, you have to put your time into it. It's very important. Anything worthwhile doing, it does take time. Not only take time to build it, and it takes time to wait for the result. It's not something that you put in and get result right away, and that's called gambling. And this is not, it's a business. It does take time to build. In the US, if you start a corporation, if you lose money for the first 5 years, you're absolutely normal. But of course, in our business, you probably get break even in 5 weeks if you wanted to. There is a way to help you to do that, right? But you have to willing to learn. And this business, especially for the first 3 to 6 months, it is learning and doing. After work, it's doing and learning. And so you have to willing to go to out-of-state training. How much the risk you have to bear? I don't know what gauge that you gauge that risk. For me, there is none. If you think that kind of investment you put in and that kind of time you put in, to you, if it's a risk, forget it. Don't even look into business, because all other business, it takes a lot more investment and bear with a lot more risk than this. So for myself, I said, there is no risk. And some says, well, if you don't make it and you lose your time, yeah, time goes by anyway. If you don't do this business, 2 to 3 years, still 2 to 3 years, okay? What about the return? Well, a lot of people, of course, I mean, understand that most people come into the business and look for the money first. We want to make additional income. I want to retire early and so on and so forth. But once you come in, you'll find out, oh my gosh, a lot more than money that we can get from this business. The first thing is that self-growth, self-improvement. And that's something it's very hard to get when you go out there and work for somebody. And because anywhere out there when you work on a job, it's like a jungle, everybody beating other people, right? In this particular business, we have so much love and people helping people. And so you get self-growth. Of course, I mean, because of a good product, you can get good health and good wealth. Additional income, definitely you will get. And if you're a good retailer, and you can make the retail profit just upfront immediately. And of course, it's a backup plan. I don't know, the COVID-19 affects how many people online. For ourselves, it doesn't even affect a bit. Fortunately, we started business before we needed it. So we have a backup plan, okay? And also financial freedom, time freedom, so on and so forth. That's definitely what we want. And number 4 is the training. Why training is so important? A lot of the people, they when they look at our compensation plan, they only focusing on the money side, which is the compensation plan, the management performance compensation plan. But you have to understand, in order to have the compensation plan to work for you, you have the people, you have the BV comes in, you have to learn how to do it. And so the GMTS, the Global Meeting, Training, and Seminar System comes first before the money comes next. And so once you come into this business, you definitely needed to put yourself into the system and to learn what the standardized training, the systemized, and everybody does the same thing to create a residual effect in your organization. So this particular system is the backbone of our system or our business, and also it is the system that we can leverage. Anybody have kids? Does your kid listen to you? No, they don't. They listen to teacher, they listen to even your friend, but they don't listen to you. Why? Human nature. And so that's the same thing that when you lead a team organization, a lot of time we put them into the GMTSS to listen to the other trainer instead of we keep talking, right? And it's definitely duplicatable. For instance, in my organization, I spread into 8 different countries. If everybody wants me to learn from me or wants my time, I'll be there. That's not a passive income. And so because of the system, every partner, they can look for the local resources to plug in. And so I got the time freedom, or everybody for that matter can get time freedom in the future. And so if you're interested, you definitely want to read this book or listen to this audio. It's a very short half-an-hour audio. It's saying the business model for the 21st century, and which he's saying that if you're focusing on product or focusing on the company, and that's not really the crucial point of joining that particular company or picking that company, is that company's education system can teach you from the left-hand side as an employee or self-employed to a corporation or big business owner. That is the company you want to go in. That is our GMTSS. And lastly is the timing, okay? And if a company is too young, it's only like 5 years or less, it's very risky. Unless you're young and you said, I have a lot of time to make mistake, it's okay. But if you really want to start a business and put a few years effort into it and get passive income forever as residual income, those companies are very risky because they don't even know that if they survive. If the company from 6 to 10 years old, they haven't proved yet. The other day I went online and trying to find out Amazon, when they started in 1993, only 20 some odd years later, they are starting to show improvement and making money. Same thing with Apple, same thing with Tesla. So it does take more than 10 years to build the foundation. And then if they make the right decision, they strive. And so, and if a company from 10 years to 30 years, it's probably good timing. And if anything over that, it would be kind of like maybe old model. But you might say, well, Shop.com is already 28. Is that going into the old model? But keep in mind, this survey is for network marketing company. But today, we're not a network marketing anymore. We are an online retailer. And so we went out of, although we started as a networking company in the networking industry, but we continue to improve. And today we are in the trend. So that's why we did not get eliminated. Not only so, we start to, continue to strive and to a new business model. And apparently, if you chose Shop.com, you're already in, you definitely chose the right company. And so that's one timing on the company. And the other timing is the environment. Is the environment helping you? Of course, for a lot of people, if you have traditional business or have a job, this environment is definitely hurting you. But unfortunately, the type of business we are in, And either the economic downturn, I remember at 2008, we did great. And we signed up a lot of people because once they hit a situation, they become extra open-minded. And so right now is a perfect timing, or maybe in a pandemic or epidemic. People are nervous and people are trying to get all the solutions. Of course, we got very good health products, right? And also, it's definitely an opportunity. So you have to let a lot of people know that what you have on hand. Okay, next we'll talk about, so we agree, we want to do something about our future. And now it seems marketamericashop.com looks very good. How do I do it? And fortunately, this company has been able to continue to grow for 28 years for a reason. So we have systems. So the first one you definitely have to master is the basic 5. For guests here, you probably don't know what that basic 5 is, and we'll talk a little bit more, but you definitely want to sit down with the person who invite you to come to these online presentation to get more detail. And so the basic 5 is almost like our DNA, our fingerprint. And that's the core value of our business. And the second one is the Master UFO program that is a proven business system. And then the SAMM, Shopping Annuity Master Member, is an accelerator to help you to complete the 2 to 3 year plan faster. And of course, right now we get to our era, which basically social media can help us to do this business no matter locally, internationally. It's gone rival. Just like today's presentation, I don't know who put that flyers out and then ended up people in all different countries that can come into it, because that's the power of social media. Okay, and take a look at basic 5. And the 5 fundamental to do this business is that the attitude and knowledge, goal and goal statement, retailing, suggest our product to the end consumers, prospecting, recruiting, and sponsoring, suggest this business opportunity to other people who's looking for opportunity, and also, of course, follow up and ABC pattern, which is duplication. So because of this system, we can always track the activity that we are doing. If we are online, are they result producing activities? So measure, monitor, adjust, and control the progress is what this basic 5 is all about. And setting priority to do what is result producing activity, that's very important. And secondly, we talk about the Master UFO and SAMM. It's a full different, complete program to prove that if you were to do it that way, the Master UFO program, and you would be able to make it into 2 to 3 year plan. I remember when we first came in, a lot of people challenged us that, how can you guarantee that I can make it into 2 years? Well, I says, well, I don't know what you do. Do you just sign up and do you put 8 to 15 hours? So if you don't have a concrete plan and to continue doing to 2 to 3 year plan, I don't know how likely your chance is. And so fortunately, Market America has a university to done a survey for us and finding all those people on the top, what actually do they do to make it on top? And so it comes into the 2 to 3 year plan, and basically is that you take the classes, the trainings, necessary training on every quarters, and you do the result producing activity or certain amount continuously and suggest the business opportunity to people. I'm not going to go into detail, but for the UFO, the people who's already in the system, you know what am I talking about. So continue doing and master the Master UFO program on the 2 to 3 year plan and duplicate in your organization. You'll be able to make it on one BDC, which is making about $100,000 a year in the next 2 to 3 years. And the SAMM basically is an accelerator, because if you and leading by example and leading your organization and the customers changing their buying habit and coming to shop.com to buy anything that they want to buy instead of going elsewhere that they don't give any reward. And so you kind of funnel all your consumption into shop.com, and so your income would complete this 2 to 3 year plan much more secure and much more faster. And so what we are actually doing is that we're creating a culture of changing your buying habit, convert spending into earning. It's a culture. And so once that culture is developed in your organization, well, that's how the BV and IBV coming from. It's because everybody doing it, they don't even have to think. It's automatic. And lastly, we talk about social media, because social media these days, and if you don't involve with social media, you're probably, people would call you dinosaur, okay? And so we leveraging the social media to brand yourself online, because right now, I mean, the world is flat. Everybody have equal opportunity, equal the playing field. And so if you don't get into social media, your circle is so small, so you don't really know what's out there, right? And so because what you do is that you're branding yourself, so don't be weird. Whatever you post, you have to be very, very careful, because sometimes early in the morning, I get up and look at somebody's post and they put a black background and said, I feel sad today. I don't know why you put that on the Facebook. I mean, why I want to be a friend with somebody so down, so negative, and so on and so forth. No, you don't. You put some motivational quotes and you discuss what you do in life and what do you do today interesting to get people attracted to you. That's what you want to do. And so social media should be social. And so don't just talk about your product and your business. And so you're branding yourself, your lifestyle, family, interests. So what you do is that you post whatever on IG, on Facebook, or Line, WhatsApp. You put 80% personal, telling your stories and why you're so happy, even though in the lockdown, because you got a shop.com business and you're still as busy, your organization grow, your income is growing, and the lifestyle. And then 20% talk about your business. And if you find you have a good product to introduce to people and so on and so forth, you post it. And so to get people's attention, but keep it in mind, it's 20% versus 80%. You're still being you. We are the representative of our business. And in that, I have 3 cases to share with you. 3 years ago, when I go to Malaysia, and I don't know anybody in Malaysia. So what I do is that I go online to add people from Malaysia. And on Facebook, you can see their profile, where they live before you add them, right? So I add this person, and then after I add him, he accepted me. I look at it, oh, he's a pastor. So I sent him a private message. I said, well, I'm coming into your area in 2 to 3 weeks, and do you mind if I come to your church to go to the service? He says, welcome. So I went there and shake hands with him and went through the worship, and then he introduced me to another event and met a lot of entrepreneurs from his church. And so after we know each other, and then we talk about, and he said, well, what your business look like? And I explained a little bit. He says, well, that's very interesting. Before I became a pastor, but actually I managed my family's bakery business. And apparently it was very good, right? And so we chit and chat and so on and so forth. And then I tell him that, well, we just came in to Malaysia and it's going so fast and keep signing people on. So I just let him know that if you are consider the business, you might want to come in. He says, yeah, I come in. So I don't know, okay. So he just came in. After he came in, when we understand we have a 28-day rule to take the NUOT, and because he is in the far end of Malaysia in Kota Kinabalu, and so he was not managed to come to my training, which is within 28 days, he says, what can I do? I said, well, you have to fly 2.5 hours to Kuala Lumpur. And then the next day he told me that, oh, I bought the airline tickets. He took off at 5 o'clock in the morning, get to KL, take the class 3 hours, and take another 3 hours back. So on the same day, he go back and forth. So people have that kind of desire, but we can look for it through Facebook. There are a lot of people there out there. And the other day, I so happened to step on the scale and it says I'm 36. And so I couldn't resist to take a picture and take the product of OPC3. I said, well, by accident, I used antioxidant 17 years ago. And now not only I freeze my age, I actually reverse my age. So I put it onto Facebook, and then one person and saying that, oh, is this product available in Hong Kong? I said, yeah, I just private messaged him and sent the link. And he said, are you coming to Hong Kong anytime soon? I said, in about 2 weeks. She says, how about you come, we met, and I got the product from you. So when I go to Hong Kong, and she took me to the highest restaurant in Hong Kong, which is 101 level. And so after lunch, and we go get the product, and then within the first week, she went into 3 different presentations. At the end of the 3rd one, she joined, and we went back to the same restaurant and signed her up right on the spot. It's within 2 to 3 weeks, and there is so much opportunity. And one more, which is the person is actually in this meeting right now. And it was the beginning of March. I post this saying that pandemic is affecting a lot of people's businesses and also the lifestyle. And I said, well, whoever who's interested to know shop.com and send me a PM. And so this person, he sent me the message saying that I'm interested, contact me. And so I contact him, and actually we have twice of Zoom meeting and a lot of WhatsApp exchange. So within a week, he signed up. And right now, within a month, he already have 3 partners in his organization, and we haven't actually shake hands yet. And so they are in Penang and also in Central Malaysia. And so social media is helping us to do this business. And the end, currently, I'm running a 10-day robotic invitation workshop in Hong Kong. And the day before yesterday, it was the 3rd section we started it. And what we understand, a lot of time, we tell people to send invitation to their friend, and they freak out. And they are so scared about how people look at them, how people reject them, and the feeling was really bad. So ended up, they don't do anything. And so what I created this program is that in 10 days, and what you do is that you come up with a 50 name list. You send out 5 messages every day, regardless of how they respond. And you just follow up, and follow up. Some definitely don't even read it. Some read it, they don't respond. Some respond, say no. Some respond, say, let me take a look at it. And so for the second round of the 10 days, and we also coach our partners how to send invitation and what to send invitation. And that is only one of the sample that they can cut and paste. And ended up, we went through the 10 days. Within the 10 days, we have a total of 376 times, and which is average is about 36 people participated, but we actually sent out 1,008 invitation. But what I look at it, not only the 3 came in the 10 days, but the 186 responded and also went into one-on-one, two-on-one Zoom meetings and HBP and UBP. And so if they continue to follow up this 186 within the next month or 2, it will be a lot more people coming in. So there is a lot of opportunity, a lot of way to expand your business to different areas. And right now, it doesn't even have to be your own area. So in conclusion, it's very important that we keep saying the Market America Shop.com provides us with a winning formula. The formula is like this. Although we are working very hard into the business, you have to constantly come back and find out if the time you're spending, if it's quality time. The time you spend provides result, BV or people. And then your organization growth, if it's duplicatable. Are you the only one working very hard for everybody, or actually everybody knowing their own position and doing what they're supposed to do and creating a duplication effect in your organization? So if you do that and you spend the time with the quality, and definitely it would translate into volume and income. And so keep it in mind that do more work works. If you are doing whatever, it's continue working and produce result, continue doing it. But do less what doesn't. Something that you have done it and try it, it doesn't do anything and doesn't produce the result, change it. Make corrections, adjust. And so that's very important. Lastly, keep going and keep growing. Thank you. Back to Joyce.
Hi, thank you so much, for Stephen. Wow, this is a fabulous training. Definitely it's $1 million experience. I don't know what about you guys. Definitely I take away one negative. Like we can have one job, but we definitely cannot have only one income. That's way too scary. But because we have more than like 250 people on board was listening to you globally. And more importantly, I got a lot of text messenger, people asking questions. So Stephen, would you mind to spend just a little bit, maybe another 10-15 minutes of your time to answer some of their concern and questions?
Okay. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. You still stay with us. Well, the first question I got is like a partner was saying, I know that it's not easy, to walk on this business journey. So what gives you the energies and also the motivation and determination to keep doing that for 18 years? 18 years is a long time. Can you share what makes you do that?
Well, I guess we all more and less like started the same way. We look at it as that, well, this opportunity might provide additional income, and we're dreaming that maybe someday that we can have this income so I can find my boss and I can have different lifestyle. But once they hit some obstacle, and they might change that what they want and what they dream about it. And well, I'll tell you what, I'm still okay. So even though it doesn't come, the Market America income doesn't come, it's still okay. But for myself, because when I enter the business, I know fair well that my Photoshop would not be longer there. Mm-hmm. And so for myself, I'm not doing it. Actually, I am, I don't know, in Chinese, what's a pingde? I mean, I'm not just doing it. I'm just doing it for the whole heart. And I burned my bridge very early on in the business. And so for the first 3.5 years, and I do part-time, but since I get rid of my traditional business, this is my life. This is my sole income. And this is the income I support my family. So for myself, if there's any obstacle, it comes in. If I can handle it, I handle it. If I don't, I just put it down and continue to work forward.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much. And again, another questions for you is, like, what lesson have you learned that if you going to do it again, what will you do differently?
Well, you know what, as Steve Jobs says that since you are you're failing in all kind of business endeavor, might as well to fail early, okay? And of course, during the last 18 years, and there's a lot of mistake that I've made. And one thing that it hits me quite hard, actually it was last year. I went to one of the Market America training, and I saw my friend there. And that friend, I was introduced the business to him 13 years ago. And so he did not take my advice, and ended up 13 years later, because of a relative, introduced the business, so he joined. And so when I bumped into him, I was kind of joking to him. I said, see, after 13 years, you still have to join shop.com. And he looked at me, he said, you son of a gun. 13 years ago, you don't twist my arm and leg to pull me in. And now I lost 13 years time. So because of that incident and hit me so hard, when I go to Taiwan last November, I met a prospect who I follow up for 15 years. And I said, that is the whole cold reality I just experienced, that I do not twist the person's arm and leg to come in. So that person regretted it. I did not do it. I said, I've been follow up you for 15 years. You come in today no matter what. So she signed up.
It doesn't matter, right? As long as it's
Yeah. So if you are already in the system, tell as many people as you could, because someday, although they might feel the pressure that you're pressuring them or whatever, but someday they will thank you, because it's because of you that they change not only their own life and their whole family's lifestyle.
Wow, that was so awesome. That's such a great answer. Well, another question just come in is this a little technicals. You know, they were saying, how do you able to conduct a first look or a second look or even follow up with the people more effectively, you know, during this is like a whole world, you know, pandemic?
Well, I mean, I hate to say that. I kind of sound like over optimistic. But ever since the pandemic, and it's for me in LA, it's about the fifth week that we are stay at home. I mean, I'm having a ball with the 5 weeks. Not only more time to be with the family and doing a lot of chore that I didn't have time to do it. And the business development side of it, I mean, I've been able to meet a lot of people from Facebook for the first time. We chat on Zoom, and I continue to follow up these people. And if we were not in the pandemic, people are not locked in at home. Those people probably don't even bother to talk to us, or they might not have the time to talk to us. And so just like the thing is that the half cup of water, do you look at it as half empty or half full? So I myself, I really appreciate this time that it gives me a lot of free time to think, to do something that I don't normally get to do, and also contact a lot of people that normally they might not even listen to you or answer you. And so what you do is that there is a saying that entrepreneur is that what they do is that they do whatever they take, but if they they don't find a way, they created the way. And so as an entrepreneur, and you just do whatever it takes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, since we have a lot of questions coming in, maybe I take a few more questions really quick. So the next one is like for some new partners, any idea or suggestions or advice, you know, for those new partner, they just start a business brand new, like within 6 months or a year. Any strategy, what should they do? Okay.
You know, even though I've been doing it for 18 years, I still learn. Recently, something that ever since I started with the Ping Ning, the Malaysian partner, I have learned so much that when a new person comes in, within the first 3 months, spending a lot of time to teach them, to coach, direct them into the training system is probably the most important things. Because what happened is that a lot of people would look down into shop.com business. They don't see it's like a big business, or well, because they come in with only like 400 US or 1618 Malaysian ringgit. And so they don't value it. But once you spend the time and you understand how big this business is, that is a multi-million dollar business. And so since it's a multi-million dollar business, it does take knowledge and does take different mindset to do it right and do it well. And so what you needed to do is that the first 3 months, put yourself into the right environment and the right group of people and the right training system. And fortunately, because of the pandemic, and a lot of training system were not available to us if it's not in a pandemic. And just like today, I mean, normally when we do this, and I have to go to San Diego to talk to that group of people, maybe 30, 40 people. But now, because everybody stay home and with the Zoom meetings, and then we got 6, 7 countries people can get online. And so it's very important that to build your foundation, especially your mindset, your knowledge. So, I mean, continue to put yourself into the training system. It's very important.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll take 2 more questions and then we'll be end tonight. So that's the one question from Joycelyn. They're saying that when there's someone showing interest in the business, you know, what are the steps, you know, you will be taking? Invite him to a UBP or individual fact-to-find talk show plan at the first place, you know, like what will you do?
Well, I mean, there's definitely there is no one method to everybody. So it is that you started a conversation and you started a contact, and to get to know the person and find out what their needs and wants. And so be open and ask questions, and even ask them, what do you want me to follow up you with? Give you more information, bring you to a couple a Zoom meeting. But one thing is more importantly is that what they call a closing statement. So a lot of time they are so scared if that person saying yes or no, so they never ask them, are you in a position to start the business with us? And so what I do is that I have 2 forms of closing statements. One is that, well, after you evaluate it for a few times, and can you tell me how is your interest level? 1 to 4, you basically don't have any interest. You're probably set for the rest of your life financially. And so it's okay. We can still be friends, and you can enjoy our products, right? But if you're 5 to 7 and your interest, but I want more information, well, I mean, I will invite you, I'll follow up you for the next couple week, a couple months. But if you said I'm 7, 8, or 9, or even 10, well, how about we'll set up another appointment to talk about what it takes to start a business. And the second statement is that, what prevents you to make the decision to start today? Tell me. Let me know if there's anything I can help to solve your problem, solve your roadblock. You let me know. So I don't want to hanging all these questions and guessing and all that in the cloud. So what I wanted to direct is that, tell me what I can do to solve your problem.
That's so awesome. The last question is the question I want to ask you is like, what joy do you get out from doing this business the most? You know, what keeps you so motivated?
Well, I would say seeing people who make it into business and who grows in the business, and that's probably one of the joy. I remember many seminars I went to, and once a while you got people come walk to me and say, you know what, I'm so appreciate your talk the other day, because before that talk, I already determined to drop out of the business. But after coming into your talk, I stayed in. And many times, I'm sure that it happens to a lot of speakers. And for myself, not only that I've been able to impact a lot of other people, and also I impact my sister in Hong Kong. 13 years ago, when I go to Hong Kong, and I have only one family member, which is my sister, and 56-year-old housewife, doesn't speak a word in English and never touch a computer. And she said, well, can I do this online business? I said, I don't know, but you don't have a choice. Okay, because you are my only sister, right? But somehow she went into the training and going with me to a lot of talks. And one day she says, I realized that this business is that it's who you know, not what you know. And so she started to putting time in this business. In 3 years, she complete 1 BDC, which is making about $7,500 a month US dollars in Hong Kong. And now she is, this year she is 70 years old, and she's getting 10,000 US dollar passive income because of the last 13 years in the business. And she is definitely a success story, and she became one of the most demanded speaker in Hong Kong. and she inspired a lot of people as well. And so that's the kind of growth I see in people, both in my sister and a lot of partners, to make me keep going. Although it's 18 years and I just pretend every day it's a fresh start for me.
Wow, thank you. Well, first of all, once again, we appreciate it, Stephen, to answer our question, because the time we do apologize, for some of the question cannot be answered. I'm so sorry about it. In the near future, we hope, we're able to invite, Stephen again. But lastly, after the pandemics, well, honestly, I think the first thing I heard the most is, I want to give you a hug, right? How are we going to give each other a hug? I hope at that time we're able to see each other in our international convention, which is coming in August. I think this is a great time to hug and give a handshake to Stephen. He say, thank you so much, for your training on Zoom. Today is April 22nd, in United States, because your training, it really helped my business growth. That's a great time we're able to see each other there. And once again, thank you so much, for your commitment.
Thank you.
For Australia, for Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Canada, Hong Kong. Wow, that's why Worldwide Builder, right? United States. But thank you so much. Yeah, because of time. Also, lastly, all the training is recording. After we finish, and then we'll hang out to whoever's the leader. You're able to get a copy if you guys want it. Okay. So, any last word for us, Stephen? Are you good to go?
Well, just go out and work as hard as you can, and to just make it happen for you and for your family and the people around you.
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much. And you guys have a good night, and you guys have a great day. Appreciate it, Stephen. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.